because you cannot try to avoid the challenges. And that is one of the biggest problems that families have. Are your family challenges impacting your family business? Now, they could be challenging your family business in a number of ways. A, they could be stunting your family business growth, meaning that the business is not growing because there's some kind of internal conflict within the family. Secondly, it could be causing your family business to fall apart and fail. And we see this very often because a lot of times when families have challenges and have conflict, the business is one of the first things to be impacted. Yes, the relationships are impacted, but the family business struggles because people see those challenges. Employees see those challenges. Vendors see those challenges. Customers and clients see those challenges. And strategic partners see those challenges. Eventually, the word gets out. And then people start to become very cautious in doing business with you. And if that's what's happening with your business, or you're on the path of getting to that point, then you need to take a look at these three things. The first thing that you need to pay attention to is you have to get a professional in there. You have to get someone in to help you navigate and mediate the family business or the family challenges specifically. So you can have people like a therapist, for example, a psychotherapist, a counselor, whoever you need from that professional aspect to come in to help mediate the communication and conversations within the business. Because you cannot try to avoid the challenges. And that is one of the biggest problems that families have, is they try to avoid things. And what ends up happening as a result is things get bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually they blow up, and then your business blows up. And professionals are there to help you. They have seen these challenges before. It's very interesting. When we work with family businesses and family business owners, because that is one of the core areas that we focus on, and I'm actually a certified family enterprise advisor, is that we sit down with the families and actually identify what's actually happening and how to overcome these challenges, because we've seen it. We've experienced this with many of the other people that we've worked with. And so going back to that point, people always say to me, Purdeep, you've never seen anything in a family like this before. We are so dysfunctional. I can't believe I'm part of this family. I'm certain you have not seen a family as dysfunctional as ours. And every time I laugh and I say, I have. As what you are experiencing is very typical of most families who are also dealing with family business challenges as well. So it's common. You are not the only one dealing with this in your family business. There's many, many, many people dealing with very similar issues as you are. So you have to get a professional in, because most likely they've dealt with similar issues, or perhaps the exact same type of issues that you're dealing with, and they can help you overcome those issues a lot faster. The second thing that you need to do is get down to the root cause. You cannot avoid it. You cannot think that things are going to get better. They always get worse. At some point, they get worse. And sometimes you cannot come back from them. And that's something that you want to avoid, because you have to get to the root cause and get it while the problem is small, rather than it getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it becomes uncontrollable. And that happens. Things get so bad that sometimes things go to lawyers. And once it goes to lawyers, it's very hard to come back. So if you are at that stage, prior to sending the challenge off to a lawyer, getting lawyers involved, then consider yourself lucky, because there's still ways to get back. Once it's gone to the lawyers, I'm not saying that you can't come back from it. I'm just saying it's a lot more difficult. So you want to make sure that you get down to the root cause very, very early on in the challenge or the problem, because you're more likely to be able to address it more effectively, and it's going to cost you less, and there's going to be less hurt in the family as well. So get down to the root cause. You cannot avoid it. That is, again, one of the biggest problems that families have is not necessarily the problem itself. It's the avoidance of the problems. If you avoid problems, they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the third thing that you need to focus on, and you may not like this, is having an exit plan. You need to have an exit plan. Whether you own the business or not, you work in the business, you're some kind of a shareholder, whatever your position is in the family business, you need to have an exit plan. Because if you don't have an exit plan, you may get stuck with something that you do not like. And again, conflict in families is inevitable. It happens in every single family business. How you deal with it is very important. And then how you plan to get through that challenge. If you can't agree to something, if you can't come to a resolution, you have to have some kind of a plan to be able to move on to the next chapter in your life. Because if you don't have that plan, you are most likely to be in a situation that you don't like very much. I've seen people lose their businesses. I've seen people lose their families. I've seen very lucrative businesses go under very, very fast because the families couldn't get their stuff together. They couldn't find a resolution, and there was no exit plan. An exit plan could simply be I'm going to sell my shares to somebody else. I'm going to find a new job. If you're not an owner, maybe go work for somebody else. If you do own the business, then it's how are you going to transition that ownership to somebody else if the family cannot resolve their issues? You have to take a look at this. And it goes back to this whole concept of sunken cost fallacy. You might have heard of this, but a lot of people, what ends up happening is they stay invested in something even though it's going downhill. It's like, let's just say you have a pickup truck full of gold, and that pickup truck is going downhill and there's no driver. You had it parked, and all of a sudden it started to roll down the hill by itself, and you don't want to let the truck go, and you're hanging on to the bumper just trying to see what you can do because you have so much gold in that truck, right? It's your lifetime's worth of gold, and you don't want to let it go. But at some point, you have to make that decision. Do you let go and save your life, or do you go down with the truck? And before that, you want to have some kind of a plan before you're in that position. So have an exit plan. Talk to your lawyers, talk to your accountants, talk to the people that you need to have some kind of exit plan. Now, I'm going to come back to that first point here. When I'm talking about professionals being able to help you, yes, lawyers are great. Yes, accountants are great, but they are not trained to help you with your family issues. They are trained in their specific skill set. An accountant is not going to be able to help you structure your family business effectively, or deal with family conflict or resolution. That doesn't happen. Neither are lawyers. Neither is your investment manager or advisor. You have to find professionals who are experts in family business or family enterprises and helping resolve those types of conflicts. And better yet, you want to bring someone in before you even have a conflict. That is you can say the more intelligent thing to do, because if you put the proper systems, processes in place and strategy in place prior to having significant family challenges, it's not that you're going to avoid them. You will avoid a number of challenges, but when you face those challenges, you're going to be able to deal with them in a very systematic way, so it doesn't go down the path of things falling apart. You're going to have a plan to be able to deal with them effectively, so you get through those challenges faster. So again, if your family conflict or problems are causing your family business to fail, or not live up to its potential and actually stunting the growth potential of your business, then here are the three things you need to do. Get a professional in there to help you out. You have to, secondly, get to the root cause and get to it fast. Don't avoid it. And third, have some kind of an exit plan. So if things don't get resolved, that they go down the wrong path, you have a way of exiting that are on your terms. These are the three things you absolutely need to do.